You know what's been on my mind lately? I think that every leader has that one employee. You know exactly who I'm talking about. If they walked into your office tomorrow and said, Steve, I've decided to move on, your stomach would sink. You would probably think, "Oh, no, not them. They're the person that everybody counts on. They don't create drama. They don't need to be reminded to do things. They just quietly make your business better. They're the person you trust with your biggest customer, your biggest project, your biggest problem. And because they're so dependable, we accidentally stop paying attention to them. And I've been guilty of that too. Maybe you have. You know what's interesting? I've watched managers spend hours every week dealing with their weakest employee, performance conversations, coaching, following up, trying to fix problems. Their best employee hasn't had a real conversation with them in months. Not because the manager doesn't care, it's because they're busy. And because the best employees don't usually ask for attention. They just keep delivering until one day they don't. I was talking to a business owner not that long ago, and one of his best people had just resigned, and he was genuinely shocked. He looked at me and said, Steve, I just don't get it. We pay really well. The benefits are really good, and we've been flexible. Now, why would they leave? I asked him one question. When was the last time you sat down with them and asked them what they wanted next? And he just looked at me, not because he was a bad leader. He's actually a really good leader. It had honestly never crossed his mind. He knew exactly what he wanted from that employee. He'd never stopped to ask what that employee wanted from the company. And that conversation has stuck with me because I think we all fall into that trap sometimes. We assume that because someone is doing a great job, that they must be happy. But those aren't the same thing. Here's something I've learned over the years. The people who complain the most usually stay. The people who quietly disengage, well, those are the ones you need to worry about. They stop offering ideas. They stop asking questions. They stop putting up their hand. Not because they've become lazy. It's because they've stopped believing that it matters. And that's a dangerous place for a leader to be. You know, one of the things I love about what I do with CrestCom is that I get to sit in a room every month with leaders from completely different industries. Some are in manufacturing, some in construction, healthcare, professional services, transportation. Different businesses, different challenges. But every once in a while, someone says something that makes the whole room go quiet. A while back, one leader said something that I'll never forget. He said, I don't think I'm losing employees because another company is better. I think I'm losing them because another company simply asked them about their future before I did. And I wrote that down because I thought that's it. That's the whole game. The best employees aren't always chasing money. They're chasing a future. They're asking themselves questions like, am I still learning? Am I still growing? Does anyone notice what I bring to this place? Am I becoming the person I want to become? Those aren't compensation questions. They're leadership questions. And here's the mistake I think we make. We confuse loyalty with comfort. We think they've been here for 10 years. They're probably not going anywhere. Well, maybe. Or maybe they've been quietly updating their resume for the last 6 months. We don't know because we stopped asking. I actually think one of the most dangerous assumptions that a leader can make is this: no news is good news. I don't believe that anymore. Silence doesn't always mean satisfaction. Sometimes it means that they've stopped trying to be heard. And that one hits me because I've probably missed that signal before. Maybe you have too. So here's something I've started trying to do. Every couple of weeks, I look through the people around me, not the ones who need coaching, not the squeaky wheels, the quiet professionals, the ones who make everybody else's job easier. And I ask myself one simple question. When was the last time I got curious about them? Not about their work, about them. And then I grab a coffee with them and I ask them one question. What's something you'd love to learn over the next year? That's it. No agenda, no performance review, no spreadsheet, just curiosity. And you'd be amazed what happens when people realize you're interested in who they're becoming, not just what they're producing. Sometimes they tell you that they want to lead a team. Sometimes they'll tell you that they're bored. Sometimes they'll tell you that they always wanted to learn something completely different. And sometimes they'll just smile because nobody has asked them that question in years. And here's the leadership lesson that I've taken away from all of this. Your job as a leader isn't just to get results. It's also to make sure that the people around you are still growing, because the day people stop growing, they usually start leaving. Maybe not physically and not right away, but mentally, emotionally, they've already started imagining a future somewhere else. And by the time the resignation letter lands on your desk, the decision was made months ago. So here's your between the lines challenge this week. Tomorrow morning, don't check in with the employee who's struggling. Check in with the employee who's thriving, the one that you rarely worry about. Take them for a coffee and leave your phone in your office and ask them just one question. What's something that you've always wanted to learn that you haven't had the chance to yet? And then do something that most leaders struggle to do. Don't solve it. Don't promise anything. Don't interrupt. Just listen. Because here's what I believe. The best leaders aren't the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who stay curious about people. And sometimes one conversation over a cup of coffee is enough to remind someone that they're seen, that they matter, that they still have a future with you. If this episode gets just one leader to have that conversation this week, there's a good chance that one great employee decides to stay. And if that happens, I'd say that 10 minutes was pretty well spent. Thanks for spending some time with me today. If this episode made you think of someone, a business owner, a manager, or a leader who needs to hear it, please send it to them. Not because I want another download, I do, because I think it might start a conversation that changes someone's career. Until next Wednesday, keep leading between the lines.